Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the DJ Greg podcast. I'm glad that you are here, man. Really appreciate it. Listen to this. For over 40 years, this hole-in-the-wall restaurant in White Bear Lake, Minnesota, has been serving fine Italian cuisine. Their mission is to make everyone's day a little better and brighter. Today's guest is the enforcer of that mission from Donatelli's Restaurant in White Bear Lake, Chris Price. Chris, what's happening?
What's up, my brother? I don't know if enforcer is the right word. I've never been called that before.
Well, I could have used a better word, maybe sergeant. Maybe that would have been cool. Yeah.
That's Rita.
There we go. There. That's true. Shout out to Rita, though. Hey, when did you get started with Donatelli's?
So my background, I started in 1992, so a couple years ago. My parents moved to the south side of White Bear when I was 11, and we found this place, Donatelli's, and they had these things called Italian fries, and I'm like, how do I get those all the time? So I turned 16, and I figured I'd just apply there, and I've been eating free Italian fries ever since.
Man, I know that good stuff. When did you start eating that lasagna, though?
I eat a little bit of everything, Greg. It's tough not to eat when you're here.
Yeah, who you telling? Yo. So now these Italian recipes, right? Who's the one that created them?
So we do it a little bit different around here. So we don't have chefs, we have cooks, and we'll basically take ideas from any of our staff. So when we first started, Steve came up with some of the recipes, the spaghetti sauce, the pizza sauce we still use today. But over the years, all the recipes we've gained have just been from people going, hey, I can make this. Well, show us how. And they make it and we adapt it. And that's how new recipes are born.
Okay. So kind of like, off the cuff.
Yeah. You just throw some stuff together and be like, dang, that tastes good. Let's do this.
It's added on the menu.
Yep. I've came up with, I don't know, probably 4 or 5, 6 different recipes that we use. You know, that Heartstopper pizza with all that meat on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me. The cook's
that was you?
It takes a while to make, but it's pretty delicious. Yeah.
What about some of the recipes, that didn't work? That come to your mind?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. None I can really think of off the top of my head. If they're not good and we won't eat them, then we just don't turn them into recipes.
Right.
So people whip stuff up all the time. So there's a lot that that hit the cutting room floor.
Right on. And then over the years, eventually, the staff grew.
Yep. So when I started, I'm trying to think. So this is a long time ago. There were probably like 15 of us, maybe 20, and we all had lunch together, sat in the booth together and had lunch and just kind of hung out. It was a whole different environment. And pre-COVID, we had, between our catering staff and our in-house staff, we have about 90 to 100 in-house and about 50 to 60 catering. And then right now, I think last payroll, we paid 62 people. So we're inching back up.
Yeah, there you go, man. That's good, man. Speaking of COVID, I know it was a hard time, especially for, restaurant businesses. But what have you guys done to stay afloat?
Well, we took it as an opportunity. So first of all, we got the PPP loan. So that's helped. We're just finishing off with that. So hopefully that carried us through to sustain it. We got current with all of our vendors, made sure we were where we need to be so that when that money stopped, we could move forward. We've made a lot of changes, focused a little bit on how we're managing our labor. We focused on our whole serving area and how that works, just trying to incorporate our mission into it a little bit more. With that many employees, you start butting heads. 90 to 100 people, you're definitely going to get people that don't like each other and that butt heads. So we kind of just took the opportunity to reset our whole restaurant. We were crazy busy before this with catering and all of our corporate and all the other stuff. And dine-in. Well, when that stops, you got to do something. So yeah, we just took it as an opportunity. Our takeout was banging for a good 7-8 weeks. We we had a great night with a DJ, a local DJ I know. He came out and played some music for us. That was awesome. But yeah, so the cooks kind of relearned how to do their world, and now we have some limited seating available. So the servers are learning their new world, and yeah, we're just plugging away. Luckily, we have fantastic loyal customers that kind of carried us through this whole mess, and hopefully it will continue.
Right, and that's one of the things that I saw on the website, because not only do you treat the regulars like regulars, but anybody that comes in, you know, your culture has always been, hey, listen, if they're new customers, you treat them like they're regulars.
Yep.
You know, and I love that philosophy about Donatelli's, and also, you know, they have this family environment, because, you know, as a DJ working with you guys, man, it's always been like, the most people that are there working looks like they know each other, they enjoy each other, they have fun, you know. And then, you know, seeing Steve and Trish, I mean, that just, you know, brings the true element, the true essence of Donatelli's right there. So
yeah, it starts at the top, comes down. I mean, they take good care of their employees. You know, they try to pay living wages and stuff like that. So it's a different restaurant environment than a lot are. A lot of us do hang around. I mean, I've been here 28 years. We probably still have 6 employees that, you know, have been here over 20 plus years. And that's not including Steve and Trish. So, I mean, yeah, it's a good place to work. I mean, the people are good, and yeah, we are all family. We fight like family. We huddle together like family. We're conquering this COVID like family. So, yeah, we do all those things.
love it, man. So now so as events start coming back, you know, which they are, is Donatelli's like taking some new measures into how they serve, or, you know,
Yeah,
what's
I mean,
with that?
so we just did our first, you're talking about more catering side, right?
Right, more on the catering side, yes.
Yep. So we just did our first event on Friday for about 100 plus people. And yeah, it's different. I mean, spatially, it's different. We're wearing masks. You know, we've always been really good at hygiene and washing hands and all that stuff. That doesn't change. It's actually a little more difficult with masks, which we find interesting because we're so used to washing our hands and not touching anything. But then you get a mask on and you're constantly wanting to do this. So it brings a whole new challenge to it. So we're learning. You know, we used to do family style salads. Right now we're plating every salad. We're still serving the buffet lines, but trying to dismiss tables a little bit, you know, slower, so that there's not 10 people stacked upon each other there. So yeah, there's a lot of little changes. We do some light bar snacks as part of what we do. Those are all in individual cups now versus scooping them out. You know, they're no longer self-serve. So yeah, there's a lot of little intricate things. And, you know, over the next few months, we'll definitely learn a lot more than we did before, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah, you kind of like fell into management when we talked about that a little bit before we started.
Yeah.
I mean, what was that like for you? You know, now learning new management skills.
So when I started as a cook. So I did that for about 4 or 5 years. I couldn't take the heat. It's just a lot of pressure coming at you fast. This wasn't my forte. So I moved into, I did some delivery driving, and I moved into serving, and serving was kind of where I found my spot. So I did the bulk of my work as a server. But as time went on, I kind of fell into this management role. We've never really had titles or anything like that. It was just Rita and Trish, and that was it.
Okay.
To what it is now. Now we have a leadership team, and it's a little bit different, which, you know, I helped create that. But as time moved on, I just kind of took more responsibility, and eventually that kind of evolved. And then in 2011, I quit Donatelli's, and I went and worked to be a manufacturer rep for some Jan Sand supplies.
Okay.
I learned after, I think I worked there 9 months, but I learned after about 5-6 months that it was not my wheelhouse. But I took away a ton of information from it. So I think it was definitely the right move. So when I came back, I sat down with Steve and Trish, and I guess that's when I formally became a manager. So 2012, I told them kind of what I wanted, kind of my vision, how I wanted to continue on with what they're doing. I mean, it's just been a great place to work, and I want to become a bigger part of that. So from that point, I started to manage a little bit more. I still did a lot of serving and stuff. And then when I turned 40, which was about 3 years ago, I said I was done serving. I served for 20 years, and I had enough. I enjoyed the customers a lot, but I needed something different. So I started to do a little more behind the scenes up in the office, created a leadership team because you can't manage it yourself. You need some talented people around you. So we kind of asked people within, we hired some people without. That took a couple of years to grab hold. We put a couple people in that shouldn't have been in that position. We put them in a bad spot because we thought they would be leadership and they weren't. Great workers, just wasn't their forte. So we learned a lot. So there's been a lot of growing over the last, 3, 4, 5 years as that. Now we have a leadership team of 6, which is really strong. And really 7. Mark manages our catering side, and he does an amazing job at that. Most of our leadership team is for the restaurant. So that's kind of how it came about. There's a lot of challenges to managing, but it's fun. It's different every day. It's a lot of just soft people skills. I think people skills are by far the most important thing to it. Mm-hmm. We don't run our business by numbers. We don't run it by that. We run it by, trying to make everybody's day better and brighter. And that's what we do. And that includes the way we handle our issues when they come up and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to Mark and the rest of the crew, man, because, over the years I've learned that, you guys really got it together, as far as like, keeping your employees, happy, satisfied, that, they're happy to work, even though the catering part is hard work. But, I don't see anybody like, slouching down or saying, this job sucks or anything like that. You have a professional, smiling, ready to serve crew, man. And that takes a lot to put all of that together. So kudos to you, your management team, and Donatelli's, man. I listen, when somebody asks about a time you feel like, yo, you got to go to Donatelli's, man. Hands down. If you don't, you're not doing a great service to yourself. And also to mention that you're one of the few caterers that I see, like, before you get ready to serve, you tell people what they're going to be eating for the night. It's kind of like an open invitation that I wish more caterers would do. Well, whose idea was it to do that?
That was all Trish. I mean, so our goal as a restaurant pre-catering, which was a long time ago, but it's customer service, and it's to make sure that all the customers' needs are fulfilled. So that's different for you. That's different for your wife. That's different for me, and finding out what that is. So Trish did a really nice job of kind of figuring out what people needed as far as from a wedding caterer. And there's nothing she doesn't think about. There's really nothing that we don't have a conversation about. How should we do this? We don't just guess. We don't throw stuff at a wall. So the reason we do that is to inform everybody how the day is going to be. So let's say you're getting married and your buddy from college who you haven't seen for 2 years is coming. He's probably in that back corner table. He doesn't know anything that's going on. He's not tied to the family. He has no clue. So if we tell him he's going to be fed and eaten in 20 minutes versus him just waiting and finding out, it makes it so much easier. They know what's coming. So the more information you give people, the better. Customers just want to know. And that the guests at a wedding are customers just like somebody that comes and sits at a booth in our restaurant. So we're just trying to inform them and let them know what's going on. So yeah, it's a huge thing that a lot of people don't. I don't know why they don't do it. It's very easy.
I mean, who do you want to eat your food? You want everybody. So why not tell everybody what you're eating, man? I thought that was a masterful personal touch that you give to your customers. It's like you never know. They may ask you questions like, okay, yeah, man, this food is great. I'm enjoying it. Where's your restaurant located? And then that brings, and then that brings more business, to Donatelli's. Well, speaking of which, what does the future hold for Donatelli's
That's a
in
great
your
question.
mind?
We just want to continue to grow. I mean, we've been doing a lot of business for a long time, but that doesn't mean we can't get better. Like I said earlier, this COVID thing it's helped us in that aspect to analyze what we do well and what we don't do well. And those things that we don't do well, we need to adapt them. We need to figure out how we can do them better. And the things we do well, we got to keep doing them. So that's really, it's just moving forward. It's just taking care of as many people as we can. Our growth is really on our catering side. Our restaurant's only so big, and people eat at certain times. They eat on Fridays at 5:30, but they sure don't eat on Tuesday afternoons at 2:15.
Right.
Yeah, maybe one or two people do. So you can only do so much with the size you have. So it's just growing, continuing to grow, continuing to develop our employees. It's a big part of what we do. We have a lot of staff that worked here before that come back, and thank Steve and Trish for what they provided for them.
Right.
It is growing people. It's supporting our community. That's a big part of what we do as well. We feed a lot of people in this community. We take care of a lot of the, student teams, the athletic teams and stuff. Obviously not right now, but we'll get back to that. So just trying to do our part, man. That's where we're going. That's where we're going to continue to go.
Right on. To me, that just all spells success. You know what I mean? That just you'll be around for another 40 years.
We're praying.
Yeah, no, you will. You will. Did you think you would be there that long when you first stepped in?
I had no idea. I would have never guessed I would still be here. If you ask 16-year-old CP, where are you going to be at when you're 43? I don't think it would be. Maybe it was here. I don't know. But it was just kind of a fun, hey, I get to eat Italian fries. And all of a sudden it's become part of me and I've become part of it. So.
Right. Now you're making Italian fries.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Chris, hey, man, I want to thank you for joining me on the podcast, man. Really appreciate your insight. And here's to another 40 years at Donatelli's.
Amen, brother.
All right, man. Really appreciate you, man. Have a good one.
All right. You too.
All right.